Well, thank you. USTelecom, the Broadband Association, it's actually the oldest trade association in the country, but in many ways it's also the newest and most forward-looking one. We are the place where all conversations about the future of connectivity in the United States of America take place. Our members include broadband providers, technology innovators, who have a unique chemistry by working together to connect our families, our communities, our enterprises to the promise and power that is broadband, that connect us to the future. It really is that. We represent not only Main Street companies and heartland broadband cooperatives to our regional providers, but also to our global leaders in the communications and the technology sectors, all of whom understand the importance of stepping up, leaning in, and working together, particularly during moments like this global health crisis that we're confronting, to ensure that we can to ensure that we can continue access for all, no matter where, no matter what, to next generation state-of-the-art communication services for all citizens, regardless of where they live and where they work. What US Telecom does is we provide a unified voice to policymakers in Washington, at the state capitals, to media, to thought leaders across not only the United States, but globally, to ensure that all of our members can continue to invest, to innovate, and to deploy the networks of the future and all of the opportunities that come with it. From the very earliest days of the pandemic and the massive shift that we saw to work and learn from our homes, our local providers, our Main Street companies, our heartland cooperatives, were experiencing similar massive jumps in traffic above what was the pre-pandemic baseline. In some cases, over 30%. It is true that traffic has leveled off to, let's call it, a new normal. But the significant learning is this: even when there were unprecedented spikes in traffic across our networks for our local and regional providers, what was absolutely true is that core network capacity remained fully capable of accommodating the significant shifts we saw in consumer behavior. When the world closed down, our internet remained open, and our networks are provided by our local and regional carriers that are part of US Telecom continue to do their work, providing service, providing continuity, resilience, and connectivity. You know, it is true that many of our local providers go back many generations in the communities that they've been serving. They are committed to those communities. The broadband employees that they've hired have needed many things to continue to do their work during what has been a very scary time for all of us in our country, including freedom of movement, access to the best personal protection equipment that we have available, being able to make sure that they can go into the facilities of the enterprises and residences that have been serving, and to do so safely. These have been important needs that our companies have had to address, and we've been glad as an association to do our part to support them and to work with our federal responders to ensure that the PPE could get to where it needed to go, that our broadband workers would be designated to be what we know that they are, which is essential workers, and that we could have effective policy frameworks and coordinating mechanisms to ensure that our broadband sector and the local providers that are delivering such important technology to so many of their community members can continue to do so. Our companies are deploying 5G services literally in dozens of cities, which are going to be not only sort of expanding and making sure that they can deliver those services deeper and deeper into all parts of our country, but make sure that we can deliver to everybody everywhere the faster speeds, the lower latency, the higher resiliency that 5G technology is all about. We know that this is a technology that is going to significantly change our experience as consumers. It also is going to unleash all kinds of important innovations. We can't even begin to predict what they're going to be, but we know that they're going to extend and touch the lives and the experience of customers all across the country, including in rural America. What I tell policymakers all the time is simply this. When you talk about 5G, don't think of it as just a mobile or wireless technology. It's not. It's going to bring us so many more valuable services and innovations beyond a faster cell phone. 5G, in fact, is only wireless for the very last mile of service. And the bottom line is what's going to carry 5G traffic? It's America's wired communications networks, facilities-based providers that comprise USTelecom members that are going to be the absolutely indispensable ingredient to ensuring our 5G leadership and our 5G future. That's why it is so important that the conversation in Washington and in our state capitals about infrastructure is critically important, and why broadband investment is a critical part of that infrastructure discussion. You asked about nationalizing our networks. Well, it's not just a bad idea, it's a bad idea with a capital B. There are many things that our government does very well, and some that it just does not do well. When it comes to communications networks, we've learned many experiences, both here in the United States and experiments internationally, that innovators, private enterprise, can and do the job of deploying networks much more efficiently, securely, sustainably, and with the financial wherewithal that's required than does government. Nationalized infrastructure, regardless of how it would be deployed, if it's the Defense Department or somewhere else, is going to create just all kinds of obstacles and challenges to connect all Americans to high-speed internet service. Privately led innovation, rather than government controls and mandates, we know are a battle-tested and time-tested model for American success and prosperity.